There are times in life when we experience a sense of awe, a deep pull that stirs our soul and reminds us that there is more to our existence than what meets the eye. And in these moments, we might find ourselves looking up at the sky, feeling the weight of something bigger than ourselves. Could it be that the heavens are speaking directly to you? Could the blood moon, this mysterious and powerful event, be one of those signs? A cosmic invitation for you to awaken to your true spiritual calling. Now, imagine this. The blood moon, this rare, otherworldly event where the moon glows with a haunting red light, casting shadows across the sky. It's a sight that takes our breath away, something that feels beyond our control, yet deeply personal. But what if I told you that this striking celestial event is far more than a natural occurrence? What if the blood moon is not just an astronomical anomaly, but a sacred divine moment? An invitation to awaken to your true spiritual calling. Throughout history, the heavens have always communicated with humanity. The stars, the sun, the moon, each has carried a message, speaking into the hearts of those who would listen. Remember the Star of Bethlehem? It wasn't just a star. It was a sign, a guiding light, leading the wise men to the birth of Christ. Celestial events, from eclipses to blood moons, have always served as signals from God, pointing towards significant moments in human history. And today the blood moon is no different. But this isn't just for the casual observer. The blood moon is a divine sign, a call to those who are ready to hear it, a call to those who know, deep down, that their lives are meant for something more than just the mundane. This isn't just about witnessing a rare event in the sky. It's about recognizing that this moment, this powerful celestial display, could be pointing you toward your divine destiny. What if this is the moment God is trying to get your attention? What if, through this awe-inspiring event, He is calling you to step into your true purpose? This blood moon is not simply a sign in the sky. It's a message of transformation. It's a reminder that you are not here by accident. You are part of a divine plan. And this moment might be the key to unlocking the next chapter of your spiritual journey. Stay with me until the end of this video, because the message hidden in the shadow of the blood moon may be exactly what you've been waiting for. The divine calling, the awakening, the breakthrough you've been seeking. It might just be waiting for you right now. Let's begin with one of the most striking and profound prophecies in the Bible, one that ties celestial events to divine movements throughout history. In the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 31, it is written, "The sun shall be turned to darkness and the moon to blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord comes." Now, these aren't just poetic words or a random description of an eclipse. This verse speaks to something much deeper, a divine message woven into the very fabric of the universe. It speaks of a day when something extraordinary will take place, a moment of reckoning, a time when the heavens themselves will proclaim a divine purpose. And the blood moon will serve as a sign for all to witness. When we read these words, we may imagine the dramatic image of the sun darkening and the moon turning to blood, a cosmic event that seems almost too surreal to comprehend. But this prophecy isn't just about a literal darkening of the skies. It's about spiritual significance. It's about God, through the vastness of the cosmos, calling us to attention. The blood moon is a signal, It's a powerful reminder that something major, something divine, is unfolding right before our eyes. You might wonder, why would God choose such a powerful celestial event as a sign? Why a blood moon? The answer lies in the nature of how God communicates with humanity. God has always used the heavens to signal important events. Whether it was the Star of Bethlehem leading the wise men to the birth of Christ, or the eclipse that marked the crucifixion, celestial events are often not random. They are part of God's intricate and divine design, meant to stir our hearts and awaken us to His greater plan. The blood moon, in its rare and awe-inspiring beauty, serves the same purpose. It is not just an event, it is a divine invitation to reflect, to listen, and to align ourselves with God's purpose for our lives. When we look at the blood moon, we're witnessing more than an astronomical phenomenon. We're seeing God's hand at work in the heavens, pointing us towards something significant. The blood moon is a divine sign, orchestrated by God, meant to prepare us for what's to come. A moment of spiritual awakening, a time when God calls His people to step into the fullness of their purpose. This brings us to a powerful and personal truth. You are chosen. In 1 Peter 2:9, the Apostle Peter writes, "But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for His own possession." What does it mean to be God's chosen ones? To understand this, we need to embrace the depth of what it means to be chosen, not just as an individual, but as part of a divine calling that has been set in motion long before you were born. This verse reveals a truth that many of us overlook. You are part of something sacred, something far greater than your day-to-day life. You are a part of a royal priesthood, a holy nation, and a people uniquely set apart by God to carry out His will in this world. The blood moon is a reminder of this sacred calling. It's not just a cosmic event. It is God's way of saying, wake up, recognize your purpose, step into the destiny I have prepared for you. The appearance of the blood moon is no coincidence. It is part of God's divine orchestration, designed to awaken His chosen people to their true identity. It's a call to action, a summons to recognize that you are part of a greater plan, a plan that has been unfolding since the beginning of time. When we look at the blood moon, we are looking at a cosmic invitation to awaken to the truth of who we are. We are not here by accident. You are not here by accident. Your life, your experiences, your struggles, and your victories are all part of God's greater purpose. And the blood moon is a wake-up call to those who are ready to listen and respond. This moment, this celestial event, is for you. It's a sign that God is calling you to step into your true identity and embrace the destiny that awaits you. You are chosen. You are a part of something far greater than yourself. And the blood moon is a reminder that you are being invited to awaken to your calling, to live out the purpose for which you were created. Now, I want to hear from you. What does the blood moon mean to you? Do you see it as a simple celestial event? Or do you feel that it holds a deeper spiritual message? Is it calling you to action? Is it prompting you to reflect on your own life, your own calling, and your own purpose? I'd love to know what's stirring in your heart. If this message resonates with you and you feel inspired to discover more about your divine purpose, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. By subscribing, you're joining a community of individuals who are awakening to their true calling and ready to step into their destiny. This is a time for reflection, for listening, and for responding. The blood moon is not just a sign in the sky. It's a call to awaken, to step into your destiny, and to live out the divine purpose that has been set before you. What is God calling you to do? How will you respond? The universe is speaking. Are you ready to hear? The blood moon is not just a rare astronomical event. It holds profound spiritual implications, calling us to reflect on the deeper meanings hidden within its celestial glow. In this segment, we'll explore the rich symbolism behind the blood moon, the transformation it signals, and how it mirrors the shadow of destiny that we each face in our lives. When we gaze up at the blood moon, we witness not just a shift in the night sky, but a divine message. The blood moon, with its deep red hue, is a symbol of transformation, divine judgment, and renewal. It is as though the heavens themselves are bleeding, a powerful and stark image that calls us to reflect on the state of our souls and our relationship with the divine. God has always used celestial events to communicate with humanity, and the blood moon is no different. Think about the Star of Bethlehem, which guided the wise men to the birth of Christ. That star was not just a piece of the sky. It was a divine sign, marking the arrival of a new spiritual era. In the same way, the blood moon could be signaling the dawning of a new spiritual age, one where God is calling His people to awaken and prepare for the next step in His divine plan. The blood moon, in all its fiery brilliance, is a powerful reminder that the heavens are not passive. They are active participants in the unfolding of God's purpose on earth. When the heavens themselves seem to bleed, it's not merely a cosmic occurrence. It is a divine call to reflect, to change, and to transform. This is not a time to remain complacent. The appearance of the blood moon is an invitation for you to examine your life, to question where you are, and to consider where God is calling you to go. It is a sign that something profound is on the horizon. When we witness such an extraordinary event, we are reminded that the universe is alive with purpose. God is not silent. He is speaking through the skies, through the blood moon, urging us to align our hearts and our actions with His will. It is a call for transformation, for renewal, for awakening. The blood moon casts a shadow, and just as the shadow falls across the moon, it often mirrors the shadowy moments of our own lives. There are times in our journey when we feel as though we are walking through darkness, moments when we are confronted with fear, doubt, or confusion. Yet it is often in these very shadows where the most profound transformation occurs. Consider the story of Jacob in Genesis 32:24-30. Jacob wrestled with God through the night, struggling with his destiny and the choices that lay before him. He was in a dark place, physically and spiritually. Yet in that very struggle, God revealed His purpose for Jacob's life. Jacob's wrestling match was not just a physical fight. It was a spiritual battle for his identity, for his future, and for his divine calling. In the same way, the blood moon's shadow symbolizes the transformative moments in our lives that feel dark, uncertain, and difficult. We all have times when we feel like we are wrestling with our own destiny. Whether it's facing a difficult decision, confronting personal challenges, or coming to terms with our deepest fears, these moments of inner turmoil can feel overwhelming, like walking through the night without knowing where the light is. Yet, it is in these very moments that God often does His greatest work in us. Just like Jacob in the night, we wrestle with our destiny. We struggle with the unknown, with the darkness that surrounds us. But it is through that struggle that God reveals His purpose. The blood moon's shadow is a challenge to us all, to face our deepest fears and to confront the parts of ourselves we would rather ignore. It forces us to look within, to wrestle with the parts of our hearts that are reluctant to change, and to allow God to reveal His plan for us. The shadow of the blood moon is not something to fear. It is, in fact, a part of God's divine process for transformation. Just as Jacob's wrestling match ended with a blessing and a new name, so too can our struggles lead us to a place of spiritual renewal. We emerge from the shadows like Jacob with a deeper understanding of who we are and what God is calling us to do. As the blood moon casts its shadow over your life, ask yourself, what fears am I holding on to? What parts of myself need to change? How is God using this moment to reveal something new, something transformative in my life? This is a time to lean into the shadows, not to shy away from them. For it is often in the darkest moments that God is preparing us for our greatest breakthroughs. Through the blood moon, God is inviting us to step into the light of our true purpose, but only after we have faced the darkness. Just as the moon shines brighter after the shadow passes, so too will we shine brighter after we allow God to do His work in us. The blood moon is no mere celestial event. It is a profound cosmic whisper from the heavens, beckoning us to awaken to something deeper within ourselves. But what does it truly mean for us? Why is it that in those moments of shadow, when everything feels uncertain, we often experience the most powerful spiritual awakenings? Throughout history, divine awakening has come not in moments of clarity, but in times of obscurity, confusion, and even darkness. It's in the shadow of the blood moon that we're called to re-examine our lives and recognize that the darkest times often lead to the brightest transformations. Consider Saul, later known as Paul, in the book of Acts. He was a man who thought he was fulfilling a divine mission by persecuting Christians, believing he was doing God's work. But one fateful day, on his way to Damascus, everything changed. A blinding light struck him down, and in that moment, Saul was plunged into complete darkness. For 3 days, he couldn't see and he couldn't move forward. He was completely lost in the darkness of his own ignorance. However, it was in that very darkness, that very moment of confusion and blindness, that Saul experienced his greatest spiritual awakening. His eyes were opened, not just physically, but spiritually. He encountered the truth of God's plan for his life. And from that moment, he was transformed from a persecutor of believers into one of Christianity's greatest apostles. Saul's conversion is a powerful example of how God uses moments of shadow to lead us to light. The darkness didn't defeat him. It was the very vehicle that allowed God to get his attention and open his eyes to a higher purpose. The same is true for us today. Often, when we feel the most lost, uncertain, or even defeated, it is in those very moments that we are being led to our greatest transformation. The blood moon is more than just an event in the sky. It represents those moments in our lives when we are facing our own personal shadows. Times when we feel lost, confused, or disconnected. But what if I told you that these moments of darkness are precisely where divine awakening begins? Just like the shadow of the blood moon, the shadows in our lives are not meant to keep us in despair. They are the birthing grounds for spiritual growth, enlightenment, and a deeper understanding of God's divine plan for us. So, if you find yourself in a moment of spiritual darkness right now, if you're feeling like Saul, blinded by uncertainty and confusion, take heart. Just like the shadow of the blood moon will pass, so too will this darkness. And when it does, you will emerge transformed with a new sense of purpose, a new understanding of who you are, and a deeper connection with the divine. This is not the end of your story. It's just the beginning of a new chapter. As we explore the spiritual significance of the blood moon, it's time to shift the focus to you. This isn't just a story of cosmic events or distant biblical figures. It's a story about you. You right now are being called to something greater. The blood moon is not just an astronomical event. It's a sign, an urgent divine message that you are chosen for a higher purpose. In the book of Esther, we find the story of a young woman who, like you, was placed in a moment of crisis, a moment that would define her destiny. Esther 4:14 reveals that for such a time as this, she was raised up to fulfill a divine calling. Her people, the Jews, were facing annihilation, and Esther, a queen in a foreign land, was the only one who could stand in the gap for them. The stakes were incredibly high. If she went before the king without being summoned, it could cost her life. But Esther didn't hesitate. She chose to step into her destiny, to answer the call for her people. And in doing so, she became a pivotal figure in God's plan. Just like Esther, you are placed in this very moment for a reason. You are not here by accident. God has positioned you right where you are for such a time as this. The blood moon is a reminder that you too are part of God's divine purpose. You are His chosen one, called to step into something bigger than yourself. The question is, will you answer the call? This is your moment. You may be facing challenges, doubts, and fears, but the blood moon is a divine invitation to awaken to your true calling. The darkness you are experiencing is not meant to hold you back. It's the very place where God is about to reveal His greatest work in your life. Just like Esther, you have been prepared for this moment. Will you step into your destiny? Take a moment right now to reflect on your own life. What is God calling you to do? What is the higher purpose He is leading you toward? The blood moon is not just a sign in the sky. It's a cosmic invitation to align your life with God's plan. The time for transformation is now. The choice is yours. Will you embrace the calling and step into the destiny that God has prepared for you? The blood moon is your reminder, your invitation, and your moment of awakening. Don't let it pass you by. Now that we've delved deep into the symbolism of the blood moon and its divine significance, the question you must ask yourself is, what will you do with this moment? You've heard the call, you've seen the signs, and now is the time to step forward in faith and action. This isn't just a moment of reflection, it's a divine invitation to transform your life. The blood moon is not just an event in the sky. It's a powerful moment in your life, a turning point that beckons you to embrace your purpose and your destiny with open arms. So let's not wait any longer. Let's take action. Spend time in prayer. Seek God's guidance through the blood moon. In moments like these, when the heavens themselves seem to speak, prayer becomes more than a routine. It becomes a sacred connection. The blood moon is more than just a celestial event. It is a divine moment, a sign from God meant to lead us into a deeper understanding of our purpose. Now is the time to spend intentional moments in prayer, seeking God's guidance. When you pray, let it be a prayer of openness, a willingness to hear what God is trying to tell you in this moment. Ask God to reveal the areas of your life that need transformation. Just as the blood moon signals a new season, allow this time of prayer to usher in a season of spiritual renewal for you. Don't just pray for guidance about the big decisions in life, but also ask God to show you the small, quiet shifts happening within your heart. These subtle moments of transformation can sometimes hold the key to understanding your greater calling. Let prayer be a time where you reflect not only on the things you are struggling with, but on the things you are grateful for. Seek God's wisdom on how to align your life with His divine purpose. The blood moon has come as a sign, a reminder to pause, reflect, and listen to the still, small voice of God. As you pray, know that you are not alone in this journey. Don't rush through this. Stay in that space of connection. Allow Him to guide you. Look back over your life. Take a moment to reflect on how far you've come. The blood moon serves as a powerful symbol of change. But it's not just about what happens on the outside. It's about what happens on the inside. There are moments in life when everything feels uncertain, when it feels as if you're walking through a storm of confusion or fear. But when you look back now, do you see how those moments shaped you? Those moments were never meant to break you. They were meant to build you, to refine you, to transform you. Like the moon going through phases, you too have gone through seasons of change. The blood moon is a reminder that transformation often comes through trials, through the things we don't fully understand at the time. But now, as you look back, you can see that those experiences were not random. They were purposeful. God was shaping you for the calling that lies ahead. So, I encourage you to reflect not only on your struggles, but also on your victories. What areas of your life have been transformed? What has God already done in you that you might not have fully realized at the time? The blood moon marks a new chapter, but it also calls you to honor the chapters you've already lived. The trials, the triumphs, the moments of doubt, and the moments of clarity. They've all been part of your journey. The next step is to embrace this transformation and use it as fuel to move forward. The blood moon is a powerful sign, but to truly understand its significance, we must turn to the Word of God. Scripture is filled with stories of individuals who answered God's call, often in the most unexpected and challenging circumstances. These stories are not just historical records. They are lessons for us, showing us how to recognize and respond to God's divine invitation in our own lives. Take time to study the lives of Esther, Jacob, and Saul, all of whom were called by God at pivotal moments in their lives. Just as you are being called now. Esther was called for such a time as this. Esther 4:14. She didn't understand her purpose when she first became queen. But when the moment came, she stepped into her destiny and saved her people. Her story is a reminder that sometimes our calling doesn't look like we imagined, but it's always perfectly timed by God. Then there's Jacob, who wrestled with God through the night. Genesis 32:24-30. In the darkness of that night, Jacob's destiny was revealed to him. It was through that struggle that he became Israel, the father of a great nation. How many times in your life have you wrestled with God, feeling lost in the darkness, only to find clarity and purpose after the struggle? Finally, consider Saul, who was blinded on the road to Damascus and transformed into Paul, one of the greatest apostles the world has ever known. Acts 9:9, 1 Satan. Saul's encounter with God happened in the midst of his deepest darkness. He thought he knew what his life's purpose was, but God had a different plan. His transformation came when he least expected it. Much like the blood moon, which appears in the sky unexpectedly, signaling that something profound is about to take place. As you study these stories, ask yourself, what does God want me to learn from them? How is He calling me to step into my purpose? The blood moon is a sign, a message that God is preparing you for something greater. Don't ignore it. Dive into the Word and let it guide you as you step into the destiny that God has prepared for you. The blood moon is not just a physical event, it's a divine sign. It's an invitation to listen to God, to tune into the frequency of His voice. Too often, we get caught up in the noise of life, work, responsibilities, distractions. But the blood moon calls us to stop, look up, and listen. God speaks to us in many ways, and one of the most profound ways He communicates with His people is through the signs in the heavens. Just as He used the star of Bethlehem to guide the wise men to the birth of Jesus, He uses the blood moon to guide us into a new season of awakening. Take time to meditate on this celestial event. Spend time looking at the moon, reflecting on the message it carries. Ask yourself, what is God trying to say through this event? How is He trying to lead me? Allow the stillness of the night sky to calm your spirit and open your heart. God speaks in the quiet moments. Listen for His whispers. The blood moon is not just an astronomical event, it is a divine invitation. Embrace it as a call to reconnect with your Creator and tune into His purpose for your life. I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you who has taken the time to watch, listen, and engage with today's message. Your time is valuable, and I'm so thankful that you've chosen to spend it with us here. Your support, your comments, and your interactions are not only appreciated, they are deeply meaningful. It's because of you that this channel continues to grow and thrive, allowing us to share messages of faith, purpose, and transformation. Together, we are not just viewers and content creators. We are a community of believers, united by a shared desire to understand God's divine plan for our lives. We are walking this journey together, each one of us searching for clarity, meaning, and a deeper connection with our Creator. Your subscriptions, your engagement, and your prayers help keep this community strong, vibrant, and focused on the truth that God has a unique purpose for each of us. Thank you for being a part of this family. Your voice matters, your presence matters, and together we are building something truly beautiful. A space where we can learn, grow, and support one another as we follow the path that God has set before us. As we bring this powerful message to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've discussed today. The blood moon is not just an astronomical event. It's a divine sign of transformation, awakening, and the unfolding of God's purpose for each of our lives. It's a call to awaken to our true identity, to embrace the path that God has set before us, and to step boldly into the destiny He has prepared for us. You are not here by chance. You are a part of God's greater plan. Just as He used the blood moon to remind us of the need for spiritual renewal, He is also calling you to be a light in the world, to embrace your identity as one of His chosen ones, and to walk with faith and courage toward the destiny He has ordained for you. As you move forward, remember these words from Matthew chapter 5, 14-16. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. God has called you to be a beacon of light in a world that desperately needs it. Your life, your actions, your faith. These are the tools that will illuminate the path for others to follow. This is your moment to shine. No matter how dark the world may seem, the light of God in you cannot be extinguished. Until next time, keep walking in faith, looking up to the heavens, and trusting that your true destiny awaits. God bless you.